Yeah, good morning, everyone. A little special video for Tuesday. Adjusting the volume here. 28th of May. 36 degrees. Okay, people, mathematically challenged ones such as myself, in unison. 36 degrees is 4 degrees above the temperature water freezes. 28th of May. You know what I had to do after I run my dogs? Bring the houseplants back in. It's mind-boggling. I won't go on a rant. Okay. Told you in previous videos, things are happening fast. I believe they are. I believe they're biblical. That's what this little video is going to be about. Because when you put your email out there, when you subject yourself through your channel to the people out there, you get some real kookalas getting a hold of you and taking you to task. Apparently, your humble messenger is a dunce. Why? Because I believe in the fairy tale called the Bible and all the fairy tale stories therein. Must have touched a nerve on my Adam and Eve story and what happened really in the garden. And it's people like me, Bible thumpers, who take that fantasy book of mysticism called the Bible and use it to enslave people, to beat down homosexuals and justify your homophobic views, and, in short, as YouTube once accused me of, purveyor of hate. Gee, who did I enslave and when did I become homophobic? I mean, what? Okay, anyway. And, of course, these modern Bible-hating, very educated people have sources to back themselves up. And I'll give you just one. I was tipped off, or it was recommended, that my ignorant ass that believes in the ridiculous fantasies of the Bible go over to the source of all current modern information and view this little clip that will show you your book, your Bible, is nothing more than a book of fairy tales and contradicting fairy tales at that. So, bear with me here, folks. We're going to have to go to the History Channel here and play a little snippet, but let's do a little research first here. The History Channel media company. History is a history-based digital cable and satellite television network that is owned by A&E Networks, a joint venture between Hearst Communications and the Disney Media Networks division of the Walt Disney Company, headquartered in New York. Now, you know what we know about Hollywood and media and the New York connection. What do you want to bet? And you can do the research on your own. We're talking about a bunch of Murrays. Hint, hint. Okay. So, I think it's about a minute and a half. Bear with me and just look at how in your face this production is. And then I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to block out the camera so you can not concentrate on my pretty face, but concentrate on the message. We'll do this, like that. I'll be back.
Genesis in the Old Testament, in the Torah, and in the Quran. But whatever you've heard about Sodom and Gomorrah, you're probably getting things a bit confused. Here's the truth about Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah are like Batman and Robin. You're so used to hearing them together that one without the other sounds weird. Yet this cozy partnership is a little misleading because Sodom and Gomorrah were actually part of a larger group of civilization called the Cities of the Plain, a collection of 5 great cities that sat along the Jordan River in biblical times. The 3 forgotten cities aren't just background details. Although they appear in the story of Lot far less than Sodom or Gomorrah, they have their own names and everything. Deuteronomy identifies 2 of the other cities as Admah and Zeboim, while Genesis 19:23 identifies the final city as Zoar. But aren't Sodom and Gomorrah still the ones that get destroyed? Well, that's sort of the issue. The Bible repeatedly makes it clear that Admah and Zeboim went up in the conflagration, thanks to being equally sinful. Zoar's role is even more important. It's the surviving town that Lot flees to as God implements his whole plan of kill everyone and let me sort them out. If the average person knows anything about the cities of the plain, it's that they were incinerated because of homosexuality. However, There's also been a recent tradition of people saying, nuh-uh, it was because the inhabitants were unkind to strangers. While homosexuality and inhospitality are the two most likely reasons Sodom went kaboom, there are more than those two options in town. We don't just mean on the fringes of theology either. The Bible itself is a veritable galaxy of fan theories from different prophets on what exactly God was trying to say by blowing up Sodom in such a dramatic fashion. For example, Ezekiel says, "Now this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy." In other words, Sodom was iced for being a fantasy land that hated charity. But there are even more interpretations. Jeremiah implies adultery was what put a bee in God's bonnet. Finally, 2 Peter talks about Sodom being lawless, which you could probably either read as the inhabitants breaking a biblical law on homosexuality, or as them breaking one of the literally zillions of other laws the Bible covers.
Then we'll write our own Bible, with less Sodom and more Gomorrah.
The reason for all these multiple interpretations is likely that the Bible's books were all written hundreds of years apart by wildly different people, all with wildly different axes to grind.
Isn't that kind of stunning? These guys just got it nailed down in a nutshell. Fanboy theories of the Bible. Now see, all you got to do is watch the History Channel. And let me tell you the name of this video here. The Untold Truth of Sodom and Gomorrah. So there you go, Dave. What's your problem? 3 contradictions to the same event. 2 major prophets of God. 1 a major disciple, Peter. So how do you resolve that? Huh? How are you going to learn anything from your fantasy fanboy book, the Bible? And zillions of laws? A zillion? Well, it's what the History Channel said. You heard it. Okay, I'll tell you how we resolve this, people. We're going to have to do a little analogy. And your humble messenger is going to be cast in the role of a veteran crime scene accident investigator. And I have a rookie, a newbie, working with me. Since I'm the veteran crime scene accident investigator, I don't have to get to the scene as quick as my rookie does. He's got to do the legwork I used to have to do before I gained rank. You know what I mean? So I come pulling up to a brutal accident scene, 2 dead, and I roll down my window as my rookie approaches, and I go, "What do we got?" He says, "Pretty much what you see here, boss, is what we got. Pretty brutal accident. They were 2 DOA, but I'll tell you what, we didn't need to wait to the hospital. What I saw before they carted them off, you don't need a doctor to declare they're dead." Yeah, well, so what do we know? Pretty much what you see. Well, rookie, do we have any witnesses? Oh yeah, boss, and that's the biggest problem of all. We've got 3 of them. They're standing over there. Them 2 guys and the chick. Okay, well, what's the problem? Not one of their stories jives with the other. I'm getting 3 different versions. Contradictory. How are we going to learn anything from that? Here you go, rookie. Teachable moment. The reason you're getting 3 apparently contradictory stories is because you have 3 individuals at 3 different locations with 3 different fields of view and perspectives giving you their take on what they saw at the general scene of that accident. So rather than dismiss those 3 witnesses as contradictory and unusable, why don't you consider this? Take the story of that guy, and that girl, put them all together and see if we can't wrap this thing up. Don't mistake contradictions for complementary information. Okay, wasn't trying to talk down to you people, but you get my point. You don't have 2 of God's major prophets and one of Jesus' major disciples coming up with contradictory statements concerning an event. It is complementary. Obviously, the 2 major prophets wrote at different times, different periods. And why do you just assume everything has one single cause and effect? I mean, that's the arrogance of the reasons of World War I. How the hell does one guy know all the possible reasons to World War I? Or the reasons for the war between the states? Written by Joe Dokes. How does he know? Was he everywhere at all places at all times, every backroom meeting? You see what I'm saying, people? That's how they do it. There's a hidden agenda here. We'll have to get into that. It's going to have to be one of the rungs of the ladders up to the strong delusion. A hidden agenda is homosexuality is good. Abortion, even late term, is good. It represents someone's set of values. Couldn't be more simple. No, I'm standing my ground. Bible's a living book. You choose to ignore at your own peril. But if your source is the History Channel, the Mystery Channel, hey, don't let me stop you. Because if they could rewrite the Bible, it really would be. In the beginning, God created Adam and Steve, and he called it good. But that ain't how it is, and you have to attack not just Genesis, not just Revelations, but every aspect of it. See? You never knew the untold truth of Sodom and Gomorrah until the History Channel enlightened you. Okay, people, that was just a quick video. You guys have a good day. Things are happening fast, and I got stuff to do. 36 degrees. 28th of May. Wow.